Welcome to Harrison City Council meeting, July 2nd, 2024. If you'd please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you please remain standing, I'd like to invite Stephen Sapp, pastor from Cross Point, to the podium.
Let's pray. The Lord, as we gather tonight, may we remember a few things. If yours is the kingdom, we cannot pretend like it is ours. If yours is the power, we must acknowledge that any of our own is from your hand. And if yours is the glory, we must understand that humility can be our only attitude as both leaders and citizens of our blessed city. As we remember these things, may you bless this meeting. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Recently, when we went through the process to fill the vacated seat up here on council, and after going through 6 interviews, council recommended Ms. Patty Van Cleve as the new council member. And at this time, I'd like to invite her to the podium for her swearing in.
Pictures, guys. Pictures. You can go up in front of her.
Please raise your right hand. I, Patty Van Cleve,
I, Patty Van Cleve,
solemnly swear that
solemnly swear that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Ohio,
and of the state of Ohio,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and that I will,
in all respects,
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of
and ordinances of
the Municipality of Harrison,
Municipality of Harrison.
and will,
Put some harder words in there.
and will faithfully discharge
And will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
of
council member
council member
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, dear.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
You are now a council member.
I told my family they didn't have to stay. They could.
You're going to stay for the fun-filled part of the meeting. So,
Harrison will never be the same.
okay, now that she's officially sworn in, roll call, please.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Egner.
Here.
Mr. Abrams.
Here.
Mr. Samuels.
Here.
Mr. Akra.
Here.
Mrs. Van Cleve. Here. Mrs. Wilson.
Here.
Approve council meeting minutes and executive session minutes from June 8th, 2024, and a special council meeting minutes and executive session minutes from June 27th, 2024.
Wilson J.W. moves to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Egner.
Yay.
Mr. Abrams.
Yay.
Mr. Samuels.
Yay.
Mr. Akra.
Yay.
Mrs. Van Cleve. Yay. Mrs. Wilson.
Yay.
Mr. Wilson.
Yay.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move into presentations at this time, and I'd like to invite the American Legion to the podium.
Gene's got it.
Gene Wilson.
I don't know if Beth is here from Pathways. I don't see her. But we have a check that we were going to present Pathways to Home tonight for $1,500 to help with their summer program for food for children. But since school's out, we still need to make sure the children are well taken care of. So I'll stop out and see Beth tomorrow and deliver the check myself.
Very good. Okay, we'll move into invited guests and visitors, and first I'd like to invite Commissioner Denise Driehaus to the podium. Good evening, Commissioner.
Good evening, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the members of council for allowing me an opportunity to speak. Just here to give an update to the council and to the mayor. I'm doing my 49 and 49, so I did this back in 2017. I don't know if any of you were here at the time, but you may remember that I came just by way of introduction as a county commissioner and offered partnership. And I'd offered that obviously to all 49 jurisdictions in Hamilton County. And at that time, I gave you my menu of opportunity. So this is meant to highlight some of the ways that we can work together to save money, to be more efficient, and some of its economic development opportunities. So I'm glad to report that the menu has expanded since I was here in 2017, particularly by way of the economic development part. And I'm going to do that last. But I think that will be important to highlight, and we've already had some conversations related to it. But before I get to that, I just want to give a broad update, and I'm happy to answer questions if you have them about what's going on at the county. But I'm happy to report that we have a structurally balanced budget. I could not have said that in 2017 either. It wasn't true, but it is now. And the reason that makes a difference to all of you is because your constituents are our constituents. And so when somebody calls 911, or somebody needs a sheriff's deputy, or somebody has a situation where they need JFS to enter a home to make sure a child is safe, you count on the county for those services. And so we are paying people better wages than we were then. We were losing lots of people back in those days. And so we've recruited new people in and have been able to retain them. And so I'm proud of those efforts. And so we're on a good path in Hamilton County. Some of the other things we have done also, again, are by way of economic development. We also have, because 911 operators, we were losing 911 operators. We were having a hard time retaining them. And part of it, we were told through some exit interviews, was the facility. I don't know if you've been out there, but it's rather dark. They're close to one another. These are 911 call takers. And so they have potentially very, very stressful calls during the day. And they're on top of each other in this facility. And it was really challenging by way of hearing what was going on. They had no place to go and decompress, like no lunch room or anything like that. And so they had to kind of sit at their desks and work through these things. It just wasn't a good situation. So Andy Knapp, the director, came to us and said, you know, we need to do right by these employees, and also we need to retain employees. And so we have now, we're renovating, we're not building new, we're renovating a facility up in Springdale, and it's going to combine emergency management with 911, and we will have that up and running. It's a bigger building, it's nicer, the technology's better. I think 911, again, emergency management's pretty important too, by way of technology, and so we have invested in safety services basically in the county. So I'm happy to report that. And then the other thing that's going on out here is the divert facility. So I am supportive of this facility. The county has been supportive. But I will tell you, when I first met with the individuals that are building divert, and I'm in the solid waste space. I'm the chair of the Solid Waste Policy Committee. It's very glamorous. And so they came to me and said, hey, we're building an organics facility. It's part of our major plan, our 5-year plan. And they said, you know, would you be supportive? And I said, well, let me check some things first before I give you an answer. And I called Representative Abrams and said, Cindy, how's the community feel about this? And she said, I'm in the middle of all that. Let me get back with you. And I said, okay. And so come to find out, the community was very supportive of divert, and I was happy to be supportive also, and have carried the message back to the Solid Waste Policy Committee that we are doing a study right now about organics, by the way, and so that the private side has stepped in and started to do this work in Hamilton County is really important. And so I think it's also important for your community. I know it's in the township, but really important to the city of Harrison. So I was happy to support that in conjunction with all of you. I will tell you, if it didn't have support from the community, it would have been hard pressed to support something like that. And I appreciate Representative Abrams kind of being my sounding board on what she was hearing in the community. So then lastly, I want to talk about economic development. So we have a couple of opportunities. The city of Harrison has taken advantage, and I mean that in a good way, a positive way, of some of the dollars that are available at the county. And so you have taken advantage of the Residential Recycling Initiative Program. years 21, 22, and 23. And then you also had CDBG money coming for the downtown streetscape. So the total is about 38,000. Am I right? 30, I don't have my, hold on. 33,000, sorry, they look similar. And so we were talking about some of the opportunities beyond this that are available to the city of Harrison. And so some of them are listed on the menu of opportunity under the economic development part. And so I want to highlight the first one, the revitalization grant. This is a grant that is provided on an annual basis by the county. It was my initiative, so I know a lot about it, and I'm really proud of it. So we set aside a couple of million, maybe $3 million in our budget to provide for an annual grant. The community says, we've got a catalytic project in our business district. We just need some gap financing for the last money in. So we are able to come in and provide that financing. And many communities have taken advantage of this. The one that is most prominent in my mind is the one at Cheviot. You know, there's a Capples building out there. I don't know if you all have been out there, but it was in the middle of the business district. It was doing nothing. It was vacant. So we gave them some money to retrofit that building. I think they're putting a brewery in it. It is Cheviot after all. And they've got this great Dora in a brewery district, and so it's a nice fit. But that's an example of what can be done with these dollars. The grants vary in size. They can go up to 300,000, but then, you know, can be 250 grand or whatever is available from us and requested from you. And so it usually runs, we just finished out, we've got a recommendation for the projects that we're doing this year. We are oversubscribed, as always, with our economic development grants, so it is highly competitive. But we do try to make sure that communities that have not gotten these dollars in the past have an opportunity to get them in their first try, right, the first cycle. And so I would encourage you to take advantage of that. Again, it runs about this time of year. I mean, we're approving them now, so we're a few months from the initiation of it, but keep that in mind. The other ones are small event grant. That runs in the beginning of the year. It's much smaller, it's about $15,000. This was an initiative of Commissioner Dumas. It is meant to build community and also provide economic development for the city. And so if you have an event and you would like to use this grant to expand the entertainment that you're providing or the marketing related to it, to provide the economic activity part, that is a qualifying event for the grant. So I would encourage you to look into that one. And then the last one's the facade grant. It's brand new. We've never done this one before. Again, it's a smaller dollar amount than the revitalization grant, but is meant to refurbish community or the neighborhood business districts. And so we don't have any experience with this. We're just starting out on this one. But again, we're trying really hard to provide partnership dollars with the 49 jurisdictions because when you guys grow and thrive, we grow and thrive, right? And so we're trying to do that in a real way, in a sincere way. So, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have. You've got the menu in front of you. All of our contact information's on the back, open door policy. Anytime you need anything, feel free to call. But I'm happy to answer questions, as I said, or be available. I'm going to hang around, so be available for the rest of the meeting.
Absolutely. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to come out and give us an update.
Sure thing.
I do serve with Commissioner Driehaus on the EMA board. It's nice having you out here and giving us an update out here. I do encourage absolutely anybody that has any questions or comments, please take time to reach out to her. I do believe that she does have the open door policy, and we'll field phone calls and emails or stopping down if you happen to
Come on
drive
down.
that way. So,
Make an appointment and then come on down.
very excited about the movement of the EMA and the call center.
Well, you know that what
Yes.
that facility, that's similar to the 911. It's just
Yes.
not optimal.
We have. There's been a lot of conversation around it at the board meetings, and I have provided some updates on the progress, and I look forward to that move once we're able to get it completed and everything. So, are there any questions? Very good. Well, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Next, I'd like to invite Shannon Eck from the Harrison Public Library. Good evening. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing real good. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you for letting us speak tonight. I'm Shannon. I'm from the public library. I just have a little update from us. Just wanted to remind everyone that K to 8 students can get no-cost one-on-one homework help. And I know during the summer, there's not much homework for most of the children, but we do have a homework help enrichment assistant, and she is working all summer. She works a little bit different hours during the summer. She works 10 to 2, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and she's doing enrichment activities with children to keep them going, reading and math and different subjects over the summer. So she's also helping us sign up children for the summer reading at the library. And she's got some fun STEM activities. You don't need to make an appointment with her. The children can just drop in. We also will remind everyone that you can print, every day you can print up to 20 pages in color or 33 pages of black and white for free at any of the Hamilton County Library 41 locations. And then we also happen to have a meeting room at our facility. It's free to book it for meetings. If you did want to book it for like a social occasion, there is a small fee for that. But the meeting room use is free for actual meetings. And then if there's ever anything that we can do at the library to help you or anything for the community, please reach out and let us know. And our phone number is 513-369-4442. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to come out. Definitely encourage community members to utilize our library. Great staff, great resource for our community. With one of my kids, she had some problems reading, and utilizing that space and the books available really helped her excel and grow with her skills. But it also has a array of different books for me to read too. So we'll go ahead and move into the business session. First item, vote on an ordinance amending the amounts appropriated to various funds of the city of Harrison.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mr. Abrams?
Yay.
Mr. Samuels?
Yay.
Mr. Akra?
Yay.
Mrs. Van Cleve?
Yay.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yay.
Mr. Wilson?
Yay.
Mr. Egner?
Yay.
Next item, vote to approve the master agreement between the employer of Harrison, Ohio and the United Steelworkers USW AFL-CIO CLC 1858.
I so move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Samuels?
Yay.
Mr. Akra?
Yay.
Mrs. Van Cleve?
Abstain.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yay.
Mr. Wilson?
Yay.
Mr. Egner?
Yay.
Mr. Abrams?
Yay.
And the last item in the business session, vote to adopt the 2025 Hamilton County tax budget.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Akra?
Yay.
Mrs. Van Cleve?
Yay.
Mrs. Wilson?
Yay.
Mr. Wilson?
Yay.
Mr. Egner?
Yay.
Mr. Abrams?
Yay.
Mr. Samuels?
Yay.
Any other items to add to the business session? Okay, we'll go ahead and move into reports. And I'll start. First, we did have the opportunity to hold a retirement party for Jim Leslie. After many, many years of service, we celebrated his departure, and he's off golfing somewhere. With that, I have taken on his email account, and I will be receiving all his emails. So I ask everybody that has emailed Jim Leslie to be patient, because I am responding to those the best that I can. I thought my email was bad. Jim Leslie's is worst. So we are currently in the search for a replacement utility director. The job is posted to multiple outlets. If you are wastewater 3, if you have a wastewater 3 license and a water 2 license, please take the time to reach out to us. We'd love to sit down and talk with you. But we are in that process. We have reposted it to multiple other outlets, and we'll continue that search. But please do be patient with me. I would like to thank our Finance Committee. Most recently at our finance meeting last week, we talked about an array of different topics, but most importantly, some fleet rotation, as well as replacement of employees, filling vacant positions. Finance listened to the need that we were facing in an array of different areas. In our street department, we had fleet vehicles that were early 1990s, and they did decide to move forward with the replacement of one of those vehicles, which will help better serve our community, not only on a daily basis, but in particular during the winter, which we already have a great street clearing program, but I think this will further improve that. So I do want to thank the Finance Department for that. And then lastly, we did have, and I think this will probably be touched on in our economic development discussion, but I had the opportunity to attend a meeting. Duke Energy came out, Ready Cincinnati, and then all the property owners of some of our commercial property in the city of Harrison. I really thought the discussion went well, very optimistic. Obviously, commercial development in our community provides not only great jobs for those that live in our community, but it's an income stream from our side, which helps us improve roadways, improve parks, and everything else. These property owners are invested into the best for Harrison into the future, and I'd like to thank each and every one of them for taking the time to meet with us, and very excited to see where all our projects go into the future. Being a commercial banker by day and having the opportunity to sit down with each and every one of them is exciting for me, and I know it is for Matt as well, because it means great things for our community. So that was the last item. Mr. Dieters, do you have an update, sir?
Mr. Mayor, I actually do have something to say, which is kind of unusual. But as council recognized, they approved the steelworkers contract this evening, which not too long ago you also approved the FOP contract with the police, and we're still working with the firefighters on their contract. But I did want to sort of address that council's made a substantial investment in those contracts, and I think that is well needed to maintain our workforce in the city. And I also wanted to thank Mr. Samuels, Mr. Abrams, and Ms. Wilson for serving on those committees, and you as well, Mayor. I often joke at those meetings that you're the only ones not getting paid in those meetings, and so it's a lot of your own time to be a part of that process. So I do want to thank you, and hopefully we'll get something settled with the firefighters soon.
That's a great point. You know, obviously our employees are our most valuable asset because they are what make our community great, alongside our community members. Each day they go out there, and for the most part, people don't recognize what they do, whether it's filling potholes, whether it's keeping the water running when you turn the tap on, or toilets flushing, washing away all the stuff that nobody wants to really think about. Very rarely do I ever hear anything from them. I actually had to seek them out to talk about their fleet rotation. So for council, for not only the committee to sit down and negotiate that contract with them, but then for council to step up and approve this contract, you know, it really allows us to be competitive in Hamilton County. And I appreciate each and every one of you for taking time to really hear out what the concerns were and then move forward with the contract. So thank you, each and every one of you. Mr. Wilson.
Yes, I have just two things. We met with the fire department, and we looked at the two different firehouses to determine how we're going to make them capable for our women firefighters. We're also looking into the possibility of a new firehouse. More importantly, though, I want to congratulate Patty Van Cleve on accepting the position of city council, and I more importantly want to thank her mother for inviting us all up to El Mariachi's after this, because she says she's going to be buying drinks. We'll all be there.
You're on your own, she said.
That's all I have, man, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Egner.
I have a brief report, Mayor. First, I want to thank Commissioner Dreehouse for coming out and giving us an update tonight. I want to also congratulate Patty for, for taking on this role. It's fun at times, but not so fun at other times. We had the Tech and Media Committee tonight. We got some preliminary work that's going to happen in December for our BSA financial package, and Kim briefed us that it'll go live in January of 2025. We also have we also got a new contract for copy machines, so they're all on the same contract. They're working through the record retention schedule. And the HCC contract's going to be up in May, so we just started discussing how we're going to proceed with that. Then Matt Eisenbrown briefed us on the cloud permit. The permitting will be online, or the permitting is online. Code enforcement to follow, and planning. We'll wrap it up, and it should be all running on September 1st. For the Community Center Improvement Committee, we have to cancel our meeting tomorrow. So we'll be meeting in August for that. But I do want to report that we were granted for the grant that we applied for through the state. It was approved for $1 million, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Abrams.
I have a few things, Mayor. Patty, welcome aboard, and I have the same view as Tony does, that it's fun at sometimes, and lately it hasn't been a whole bunch of fun. So now that you're here, it'll be a lot of fun. So hopefully we're moving on. We did have a short streets meeting tonight, and we have been getting a lot of information from Turner Ridge Drive, and I'm not going to get into a long dissertation about it, but it looks like we're moving in the right direction. The Arbor Homes, who is up there, is going to start paving the street on July 8th, and there were some questions on how we will be following up now that Jim Leslie is no longer with us. And as the mayor said, he's taken the emails. So go right to the source. I say that in jest, but myself and Jerry went up there, and Matt's been at point on this. So you can reach out to any of us. We know what's going on up there, and we just, the solution is going to have to come in phases, but we're heading in the right direction. I want to talk about streets some more. Myself and Mr. Acra and Mr. Wilson all received emails on the street in January or February up on High Street. And basically the street had been neglected probably for a little longer than it should have been. And the street department was patching it as we went along. We were able to secure some money, around $13,000, to get that taken care of up there. It'll sometime be later in the year when we get up there, but at least we're going to handle High Street. As you all know, if you drive down Campbell Road, they turn the traffic light on in Industrial Drive, which has precipitated the intersections on Campbell at Kilby about a light there. It's not our light, it's not our land, it would be Hamilton County. And on the other end, and it's not because the commissioner's here, there's been multiple traffic studies done in the 23 years that I've lived here, and they just won't put a light there. On the other end, and myself and Mr. Wilson had a conversation about Campbell and State, that's Dearborn County. So we're kind of stuck on both ends. So just to get that out to everybody, even though we would like to put some lights up maybe, it's not, or we're not going to be able to do it. So, one last thing, there's been some pedestrian signs and some lighting that we've done at Harrison Avenue and West Road, and that was part of the project when we did the bridge and the walkway there. So we've secured around a little bit over $17,000 to do that, and that'll come in phases, and that should probably end that project up there. Mayor, that's all I got.
I'll just touch on that Campbell and Kilby Road. Obviously, that is a highly congested area, and with the growth and expansion that's taken place in JTM, it has prompted further conversation between the city and all the residents and JTM or the businesses in regards to that intersection. While it may not fall into the city's jurisdiction, that doesn't mean that we can't have conversations and start prompting conversations. You know, JTM expects an additional 150 trucks. Is it a day or a week? A week. 150 semi-trucks a week going through that intersection. So it's definitely time to start having those conversations, and there's no better time than the present, especially with Commissioner Dreehouse sitting here. So we'll definitely touch on that and see if we can't spark that up again. Exactly. So not to put you on the spot, I'm sorry. Yes. No, exactly. It's the partnership between the city and the county and getting that moving so we can improve that for safety as well as flow of traffic. So, Mr. Samuels.
Yes, Mayor, I do have an update, and as always, my updates on the first meeting of the month are long, just because I'm covering Economic Development and Finance Committee. But first off, I'd like to welcome Patty to council.
Thanks, Ryan. Why do y'all laugh? That is just not nice.
No, it's been wonderful. You know, I have no complaints. So, also, I would like to thank Commissioner Dreehouse for being in attendance tonight. So it was very nice seeing you and hearing you regarding what's going on with the county. In terms of economic development, the Economic Development Committee met tonight. And as always, Matt went over the activity report. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but they are very busy. They weren't as busy as the prior month in May, but they are still very busy. A lot of focus has been on sign enforcement. So they are dealing with some issues currently with some of the businesses in the city. So just be on the lookout for that. Communication, I think Tony really touched on this with the cloud permit system. They're working on it, hopefully for a go live from September 1st. Matt is working on some BRE or some business retention and expansion meetings. Met with the local support groups, Alloy and Ready groups. They're hoping to start meetings with businesses later this summer. Dispensary update. If you've been keeping up with the news, the lottery has been complete. So right now we're really just in a waiting game until the number gets pulled for someone who does want to come to the city. Interfab, they did receive their approval for their tax incentive from Jobs Ohio. So they're going to bring approximately 44 jobs, which is over $1 million in payroll to the city. So we're happy about that. Planning Commission next week does have 4 agenda items where 2 of the businesses are going in downtown. One business out on Dry Fork Road for the dental office building, which I think they've had a sign up for a while. And another item is going to be a dedication plat application. This relates to what the mayor talked about earlier regarding the Enterprise Way project in terms of getting an additional road back there by Pilot Road. So that's for Planning Commission. I did attend a meeting. Matt has it on the agenda as a RID discussion. Really, it was a residential incentive district, just to get a better understanding of how these incentive districts work. Really, I think the focus was towards the Oakland Hills, but it was really just an overall explanation of how these things work. So if we do have the opportunity in the future to take advantage of it, we are well versed in how they operate. Matt does have traffic planning meetings set up with local businesses and JMA, really just to give project updates. 2 of the biggest topics are really going to be the Dry Fork Bridge and the downtown area. The mayor kind of touched on it. We did have a meeting with the Duke Energy site readiness grant, kind of touched on what went on in the meeting. It was very exciting. It was really nice from my standpoint, to see everybody in the room really getting the updates. And it was really a couple different points. They did talk about the bridge project, so the impacted businesses. They discussed any zoning issues that may come up as it relates to that. So just an informative meeting, and it was nice getting everybody together. And Matt is still working on the comprehensive plan. It's on his radar. He's hoping to have an RFI completed by the end of July. And that's it for economic development. Finance Committee, we did meet on June 25th. As always, we did review the revenues and expenses. They really seem to be in line, consistent with overall budget. There's really no issues on the expenditure side that we're concerned about at this point. We have a couple topics where the water fund and looking at the capital projects, really the Dry Fork overpass, making sure we're in position to manage those expenses for later this year and upcoming year. Cash balance, we still do continue to be solid. We're able to have about $25 million invested. So pretty happy about that because that money is earning interest and that is coming back to the city. Next month, our meeting, we will be able to look at our half-year results. So probably provide some more detailed information on the results at the next council meeting. Some miscellaneous items, we talk about the budget amendments. The total amount was about $670,000. Itemized out, I've got some things to talk about with those. So that was approved earlier this evening. There was a TIRC meeting where the CTS agreement, or they reviewed the tax incentive agreements. The CTS agreement that was in place has expired. The agreement conditions have been met. There are currently 3 agreements for JTM that are still ongoing and will continue. The health insurance renewal process, we did come to the decision that we will be adjusting the HSA contributions to 1,000 and 3,000 depending on what level employees are in. So we did confirm that, and that was part of some of the appropriations that we made this evening. That was incorporated in those. The street department, Mayor talked about this. We agreed to purchase an additional truck, a Ford F-550, in the amount of about $130,000. This truck will be used for street maintenance and will be equipped for snow plowing and salt delivery, replacing I think it's a 1999 International truck, so about a truck that was 25 years old. So I'm sure they'll be very happy to get that new equipment in there. The fire department is purchasing a mobile comm radio to replace the one that was damaged. That came through. Discussion of possibly adding staff for vehicle maintenance. It's really just an analysis that was completed and was brought up in council. We really decided not to move forward with it. But basically, it was a conversation looking at, if we wanted to bring somebody on staff to do fleet maintenance rather than farm it out, but it just didn't seem like it was feasible at this time. Kim also talked briefly about, she's working on about a 5 to 7 year financial forecast for the streets, water, and wastewater department, so that is ongoing. With the police department, we were presented the opportunity to purchase 3 additional vehicles, Dodge Chargers, in 2024. These vehicles were slated to be replaced in 2025, but with purchasing these vehicles now, we can buy the lower cost Chargers, which are compatible with the equipment in our current vehicles. If we purchase next year, our only option would be the more expensive Dodge Durangos, because the Dodge Chargers are no longer available, or they will no longer be produced after this model year. So it really just allows us to save a little bit of money. We are buying the vehicles a little bit earlier, but it does allow us to save a little bit of money because 1, the cars are cheaper. 2, the equipment that's in the cars can be easily transitioned over to another Dodge Charger versus having to buy all the equipment for a Dodge Durango. So we do thank the chief for looking for that opportunity and bringing it to our attention. We also did approve the hiring of a replacement officer that will replace a position that will be available in September due to an upcoming retirement. So this hopefully will allow the officer to come on board, get ramped up, and be ready to go as soon as that officer does retire. We did talk about the 2025 tax budget. We had our public hearing about that tonight, so I won't go into too much detail about it. And always, there's always a brief discussion on planning for the Dry Fork Overpass Bridge. That project is coming, and we do have a big expenditure coming in 2025. So just always a topic of discussion. Union contracts, I tried to give an update on that, but Mr. Dieters gave that, so I'll cut my update short. I apologize for the length.
Well, good, sir. Mr. Aker.
Yes, I got a couple things. We have someone in our community who wanted a dog track or a dog park for small dogs, and prior to COVID, actually did some fundraising. Then COVID hit and kind of stopped that, but it's, I'll be bringing that to Building and Lands next meeting. It's not a large amount of money. We already got the land. I don't know how, I'm going to talk to her about how much money she's actually raised, but it's, the other day I came in, there was a Great Dane playing with a Mastiff, happily, but when you got the kind of dog that you carry in your person, she just was worried that they might end up a snack, and she would like to see a small dog park. I think it's a good idea, so we're going to check into that, what the cost is. It's going to be a small amount of fencing is all, somewhere near where our current dog park is. And the other thing I was working on was with our storm sewers. When RLA came through, they were swapping out the gas lines on all the buildings in town. They actually ran underground cameras to see if any lines had dipped into the storm sewer, because sometimes they do that just to, they already got the hole dug, so they did it. But there's a video of our storm sewer in our 100 block of Harrison Avenue floating around, and the 200 block. And he told me that we may have a problem down the road, because through all the fairs and things and street events, the trash ends up in the storm sewer, runs down the State Street, and there's a hard left turn, and sometimes those turns, it starts to gather. And he said it's probably something we should have cleaned out down the road. So the video there is there somewhere. Another interesting thing about it he had on video is to show you the ingenuity of our firemen throughout the years. Back in the late 1800s, prior to having running water, our firemen built 8 or 9 huge cisterns. And there was one of them at the intersection of Harrison Avenue and Walnut Street underground, and they were checking out its integrity. And it's still intact. It's still in great shape, but you drive over there, there's a huge cistern right there. I think it was 1868, something like that. They put this thing in. They used to have of course, the city wasn't much bigger then. They had a pump on the corner, and they'd bring that horse and wagon thing where they had a big pumper in the middle and 6 guys on each side. But they took a video of that too, just to check its structural integrity. And I talked to RLA today. I'm trying to get a copy of that video, because I would like us to have it, because we might need to see what's going on under there, but for historic context. And that's all I have today.
Very good. Ms. Van Cleve, would you like to say anything?
I really appreciate you selecting me for this. I've spent 2 nights with these wonderful people already, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. I know you all are very worried and scared and think I should have ran, but I'm okay. I think it'll be fun. And I want to thank my family.
Couldn't think of anybody more suited for the seat, so.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you coming.
Appreciate you all.
Mrs. Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to welcome my friend, Patty Van Cleve. Patty and I got to know each other when I was the recreation coordinator, and she and her husband were volunteers for the recreation committee, and I can tell you straight out, you'll never find anybody that has more enthusiasm. Oh, I forgot. I forgot the kids worked at Summer Fun.
Chopped liver.
Thank you. You're not chopped liver, though. But anyways, she's such a hardworking, dedicated, she has so much enthusiasm. She's she learns very quickly. She has great integrity, and you're just going to be a great addition to Harrison City Council. We did have 6 great applicants, and we thanked all of them for coming in and interviewing. But at the end of the day, we felt that you were our very best choice, and that's what we did.
Thank you.
So we welcome you. I want to thank Commissioner Dreehouse for being here tonight and sharing information with us that I think will be helpful to our city council. I'll give a report on recreation. We have 2 free summer concerts left. July the 16th, Zack Attack, and July the 30th, DV8. The concerts are held here at the community center from 7 to 9:30. They're free events, and they're a lot of fun, so I suggest you come out and enjoy them. This week will be our 4th of July celebration. It'll kick off at 4 p.m. with our parade, and former Mayor William Nyer will be our Grand Marshal. The P&G Big Band and family-friendly activities start at 5 p.m. 6 p.m. there'll be a cornhole tournament. 7 p.m. the band Don't Tell Steve will be performing, and then we'll have fireworks at dusk. And then on August the 10th is our Harrison Car Show from 12 to 4 p.m. It'll be in the 1 to 300 block of Harrison Avenue. $15 pre-registration, $20 same-day registration, and there'll be awards, food, music, local shopping, and a lot of fun. Since this is the first Tuesday of the month, it is Be the One Day in the city of Harrison, thanks to the mayor for our proclamation. So please don't forget to reach out to a family member or a friend or an acquaintance to check in and see how they're doing. People don't really like to tell you what's going on with them when they're having problems, but when you reach out to people and to check in on them, it can make a big difference. So I really strongly suggest you do that. On July the 20th, the Hamilton County Veteran Service Commission, in partnership with the Hamilton County Commissioners and the National DAV, is going to be hosting a free Veterans Appreciation Day at Great American Ballpark. It's open to all Hamilton County veterans, and we suggest that you come. It's going to be a great event, and we got a lot of great activities planned. There's going to be tours of the ballpark. The mascots are going to be going around. There's going to be a lot of kids' activities. There's free food, free non-alcoholic drinks. No alcohol will be allowed to be purchased that day at the Great American Ballpark. Parking is free, and we're going to have many, many vendors there who are going to be able to give great information out to veterans. So I think there's over 36 vendors, if I'm not mistaken, that we have signed up that are going to be giving out information. There's going to be free gifts, free prizes given out. So it's going to be a great day. It's going to be July the 20th at Great American Ballpark from 10 to 2. There's free parking. So if you're a Hamilton County veteran, and it's open to your Hamilton County veterans and their families, actually any veteran, whether you live in Hamilton County or not, is welcome to attend, but the services that we provide that day will be open to Hamilton County veterans. So please come out and pass the word, and if you know a veteran and their family, let them know. Great American Ballpark, July the 20th, 10 to 2. That's all I have, Mayor.
Very good. Is there any other discussion?
Other than Gene and I want to welcome our third great-grandchild and our first great-grandson into our family, Bennett Douglas Campton.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
That's quick. Second.
There's no delay with Tony.
Mrs. Van Cleve,
Yes.
Mrs. Wilson,
Yay.
Mr. Wilson.
Yay.
Mr. Egner.
Yay.
Mr. Abrams.
Yay.
Mr. Samuels.
Yay.
Mr. Akra.
Yay.
With that, we stand adjourned. Have a great evening.